Hello, my name is Jim, and I'm going to go over how to make an angel food cake from scratch. I have a list here of a few things you need. First thing is a two-piece angel food cake pan like this here. Comes apart in two pieces. You want to make sure you have a shiny pan. The emissivity of a shiny pan is closer to 0, so you don't absorb the radiant heat, especially in an electric oven. If you have something that's darker, like black, like cookie sheets, many people wonder why their cookies will burn or things like that. Well, that's because your emissivity is close to 1 when it's black and it absorbs all the radiant heat. You want to make sure you have a shiny pan, so it's got an emissivity closer to 0. You want your eggs at room temperature, your 1.5 cups of egg whites, and I actually maybe even a little higher. What I will do at times is put them in the bowl, and I'll turn the oven on and let the oven warm up just a little ways, and then I'll shut the oven off, and then I'll put the pan in there for a little while to warm them up a little bit. Older eggs actually beat up better. If you have eggs that are 2 or 3 weeks old, they'll actually beat up and peak better. Eggs actually keep for a very long time, but found that works. Egg whites freeze very well. What I'll do is if I have extra eggs, I usually use it's 1.5 cups plus a half an egg white or another egg white is what I use in my recipe, and that fits very well in like these 16-ounce butter containers. And they'll keep for a month or even several months in the freezer. You take them out and let them thaw out and get back to room temperature, and they're just like you just separated them. And then also angel food cakes, if you wrap them up well, they freeze very well. I've frozen for a month or 2, especially in a deep freeze, and you can't even really tell. It's like you just baked them the day before or whatever. Okay, here's the ingredients for making a cake. Takes a cup of sifted flour. Use cake flour, you'll have the best luck with cake flour. 7/8 cup of sugar, which is 3/4 cups plus 2 tablespoons. 1.5 cup of egg whites, and like I said, I'll use 1 egg white over 1.5 cups normally. 1.5 teaspoons cream of tartar. 1/8 teaspoon of salt. 1.5 teaspoons vanilla extract. 1/2 teaspoon almond extract. 3/4 cups of sugar, and then there's a process to do this. That's what I'll show you now, the process so you get a good angel food cake. And then you want to preheat your oven to 375 degrees, and the cake will be baked for 33 minutes. Alright, ready to start here. First thing I'll do, my egg whites. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is get a cup of flour, up in my sifter here, and I'll sift it out. Sifted that. Now I'll take a spoon and I'll spoon it back into the cup because you want to keep your flour nice and fluffy. Back in the cup. Fill it back up. Off here. And what I'll do is take just a little more of that flour. Put just a little bit more back on top, like that. I'll use a bowl here. Dump my flour in my sifter. This out of the way over here. Okay. So there's my cup of flour. Just a little bit more than a cup of flour. And I need got a 3/4 cup here of sugar. And then we'll put our 2 extra tablespoons in there. 1. There's 2. So there's our flour and sugar mixture. Okay, next thing we'll need 3/4 cup of sugar. And this will go in the, you beat up the egg whites, make them fluffy. There's our sugar. Okay. Now here's our egg whites. Like I said, it's 1.5 cups plus I put 1 more egg white in after that. And it's definitely room temperature or maybe even a little warmer. Put in 1/8 teaspoon of salt. Here's that. And then it takes 1.5 teaspoons of cream of tartar. Teaspoon. teaspoon and a half of cream of tartar. And we need a teaspoon and a half of vanilla extract. A teaspoon and a half vanilla extract. And we need a half a teaspoon of almond extract. Ingredients in there. A little bit here. Set this about away. Okay, here's our mixture in our egg whites. Get the mixer. We'll heat this up with the mixer till it's foamy. And we'll start dumping our sugar in there a little at a time to get it nice and foamy. My mom taught me how to bake these cakes back in the 90s. I've made many, probably several thousand or more ancient cakes since then. Many times I'd mix one up before work, bake it in the morning, and then it'd be cool in the evening. I made them 7 in a week, and also I've made 2 in a day at times. But I've baked many of them. I give most of them away. I like ancient food cake, but I don't eat it a whole lot myself. I got almost tired of it. My mom used to have ducks when we were younger, had a lot of duck eggs, and she would make bunches and bunches of ancient food cakes. Okay, they're nice and foamy. We're going to dump a little bit of sugar in here. And my mom taught that there was 4 boys in our family, no girls, so Mom taught us to bake and cook. I took 10 years of food, but my mom was the leader for 4-H. So I baked and cooked. I don't do quite as much now because my wife, she does the cooking, but I still bake. I'll make chocolate chip cookies, I make these cakes, and if I find another recipe I like, I'll make other things. I do other things too. I like to weld, and my brother's farm, and I help them on the farm quite often. As you can tell earlier, I was talking about emissivity. I've got a degree in engineering, and that's what I do. I do some consulting work too. I just beat it up real nice, as you can see. Slow it down a little here and get it on the edge. Beat it up real nice. Now I've got it ready here, and we'll fold our sugar and flour mixture in here in a minute. Let me stop and see how it's peaking. You want it to peak up nice. Just a little bit longer. That's about good enough there. Denny is ready with a hand mixer, but that's definitely a lot more work. You can sometimes get it to beat up better, but it's quite a bit of work to do that. Alright. That should be good. As you can tell, I splattered a little on my pants too. So that's beat up well enough. Let me set the mixer over here to the side. Alright, now here's our flour and sugar mixture. We'll put a little bit of that in there. We'll use a whisk here and we'll fold that in. Like I said, this is a process. You want to just fold this in because you want to keep your batter nice and fluffy. That's the whole key to making an ancient food cake. And I found too, we live in Missouri, and when it gets humid, they don't seem to puff up as much. Now it's the winter and it's quite dry out, and I have much better luck at get my eggs to beat up better. Mix that right on up there. More of this in there. Got it all in here. Got my oven heated up, ready to go in there as soon as I. A little more. Usually take about 4 or 5 times to take my flour and sugar mixture in there. Last of it in here. There we go. So there's all our ingredients in our cake. There it is, nice and mixed up. Okay. Here and get as much batter as I can off of this thing. I don't beat it on the. I'll make sure I don't Take any of the fluffiness out of my batter so I don't beat it on the side of the pan. There's that. Here's our aged food cake pan. Now we'll dump it in here. Scrape it on out of here. Sometimes I get a little bit on the tube, it doesn't really hurt, it'll just bake on there. And vast majority of the batter out of there. There we go. Just do it in here. Okay. I need to take a knife. Get your knife out here. Taking it. This will level off your cake batter, and it'll also get any air bubbles that may be down in the cake batter. You don't have holes in your cake. Sometimes you'll still get a few holes, but this helps that. You can actually see some of the air bubbles coming up as I do this. Okay, that gets it leveled off. And just a little here. Okay, now we've got our oven preheated to 375. Open our oven up. We'll go put the cake in there, and you'll bake it for 33 minutes. And here I have a cake. This one's already been baked. As you can see, it's got fairly big cracks, browns. So I'm going to show you how I cut it out of the pan. Baked this one earlier. Cut around the outside. Cut around the tube. See? And you take and you just pop it out of there. And pretty tight in there. Pop it out. You take and you cut around the bottom of your pan. Okay, cut all the way around. Now you just take it. I take these cheap paper plates, flip it right over. There it is, comes right out of the pan. And there's your aged food cake. And then I'll go over your ingredients once more. Takes 1 cup sifted flour, which is cake flour, 7/8 cup of sugar, which is 3/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons, 1½ cup of egg whites, which is, I use, excuse me, 1 egg white over 1.5 cups, 1½ teaspoon cream of tartar, 1/8 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon vanilla extract, 1/2 teaspoon almond extract, and then 3/4 cup of sugar, and then you'll bake your cake at 375 degrees in a preheated 375 degree oven for 33 minutes. Thank you. Hopefully this gave you good pointers on how to make a homemade aged food cake. Thanks.